Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today I have the absolute pleasure of checking out an act from Denmark titled Nominated Decade, and this song is called 2019. Switching over to here. I'm looking forward to listening to this track. It is a here's the art for the track here. This is a total of 4 minutes long. We're going to hear this track from start to finish, and yeah, we're just going to see what we think. Let's go. Made that album art big again. Nice with these acoustic guitars. My understanding is that it's kind of bring back like the emo rock vibes from the mid 2000s. So we'll see how we go with that, but it's sounding reasonably authentic at the moment. Without a really bright sounding acoustic guitar with a bit of the sizzle on those vocals. Sick, man. The best summer I ever had. Beautiful. I mean, like, it's straight to the point. You can clearly understand the lyrics, and the way he's singing is very, very succinct as well. Nice coloration and texture to the vocals, and there's a little bit extra occasionally, but mostly just the focus on that guitar and singing has been great. Got some pads or some... Yeah, got some synth pads in there. Nice little bit of a space in that mix there. I'm digging the repeaters and the amount of reverb on the singing, and it's great. It's really well produced so far. With the cymbal shimmers coming in. Okay, we've got a piano in there as well, some guitars, and some chimey bits. This is a 3-chord progression here. Yeah, there's a grit there that I'm really enjoying there. There's a bit of fight in it. You know, it's not a super duper soft, gentle, pure experience. There's a little bit of passion behind that. I dig it. Okay, so this is about like some sort of relationship that's going on. 2019 was a really happy time for these two lovebirds. Okay. Excellent. Really fantastic. They're communicating with each other. There's a lot of passion there. I dig it. It's actually been quite nice to not need to rely on... Boys don't cry. Oh, we got... Now that's interesting. You have some very subtle kind of going on in the background. We're slowly developing this theme. I have a lot of love for that. It's crazy to think the song's nearly done, man. We're 3 minutes through. That's wild. It's carried so well with these synths, the guitar, and the vocals. Well done. The same song is still playing on the radio. Is that literal or metaphorical? I'm assuming it could be metaphorical, you know? Stunning. So did they wake up together or separately? Do they still feel the same way about each other? Did they separate? I'm assuming they could have potentially moved apart and he's reminiscing about this really special time in their life, you know. Great song though. Yeah, it was nice and bright and it had a lot of warmth to it. Had a lot of coloration in it with those different synth pads harmonizing with the guitars. It was nice just to have that single sort of vocal line in there without any sort of excessive layering there. I think that the guy was a strong enough singer to not need the additional assistance in the mix, you know. You had the occasional repeater or another line that was filtered in the end part. But for the most part, it was just a dude and his guitar, and it's beautiful, man. It's sort of seems it makes me feel nostalgic, even though I wasn't there. You know, it reminds me of when I was. I suppose it reminds me of when I was back in the mid 2000s when I was a teenager, and I like I used to I felt the same. I think a lot of people would go through what's sort of been everyone's got a favorite era of their lives. Obviously, you try to find happiness with whatever you do, right? You don't chase it, but you try and find peace in the existence that you're a part of. But at the same time, there'll be bits that were just better. And I'm assuming it's really great to hear a nominated decade speaking about that time in their lives. It's really cool. It's a really simple song to understand. The lyrics were straightforward, but not patronizing and not boring. There was enough nuance for them to keep you interested in the tale that was being told. At just under 4 minutes, it's almost magically perfect in the length of it. It finishes right at that point where if there'd been more than that, it would have seemed a little bit too excessive, especially for a single. But again, there's an understanding that you need to keep it under that 4 minute mark if you're doing singles nowadays. If only for the reason that people just have lesser attention spans than they used to. And I'm really happy with what I've been provided with today from Nominated Decade. Apparently, they're releasing an EP in 2022. So this is going to be very, very exciting. I really hope Nominated Decade have if they haven't had success already, that they have further success with that. Seem like a really professional. I think they'll have a career in it if they can keep going. And I think there has been a bit more of that kind of mid 2000s kind of emo alt-rock kind of stuff coming back in music now after people got really, really into trap and hip hop and those other elements in the mid 2010s. You'll see how it goes. That is effectively my review, though, of Nominated Decade and 2019. Hopefully you enjoyed this track. I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing else that I've missed, because this is a 4 minute track, and at the moment it's looking like this review is less than 10 minutes. I suppose a lot of the reviews I do nowadays, there is either too much going on, so you have to stop all the time and talk about it, and it can be a detriment to the review experience. Not that I mind talking about the intricacies of things, but it's almost like people are putting stuff in just because they don't trust you to be able to listen for more than 10 seconds without change. I think there was a faith from Nominated Decade in the ability. I should probably actually say the guy's name, Yeah, the guy's name is Matthias Matthias Eason. And I think it's a solo act. And so for Matthias to have been able to put everything like this together is really impressive. Again, even though I know a lot of people have a lot of different skills, there's a lot of different resources that people can have in their toolbox nowadays. It's another thing to know how to use them effectively, to use them maturely, and to use them in a way that's beneficial to the music. So yeah, well done, Matthias. Well done, Nominated Decade, for that. And I don't actually... Often, if I hear an acoustic performance like this, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool with some drums and stuff? But I don't know, because Nominated Decade is good enough without needing those additional elements. He could probably pull off an acoustic record, and it'll probably be sweet. But we will find out. We will find out. So yeah, I think that that is my review. Please do stay cool and stay safe. Remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. as I need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you next review. Was there anything else I wanted to say about the song? I think just having the chords, right? Just having the chords without feeling that need to arpeggiate them, or like really rip the idea. Like, it was one of the few times where I've heard a few different modifications on a musical concept without it getting boring. I think it was the addition of those different pads and synths and stuff like that that made it kind of special. Or maybe I just have a bias towards this type of music, but it's kind of it. I'm going to be thinking about this track after this. There's something special about it because usually I do tend to get bored if there's not a whole lot of change with the way the guitar has been played and stuff like that. But I think he's just a good enough singer, and there was enough. Like, he had some really nice clean parts, he had some legato parts, and as I mentioned, a bit of sizzle. There was enough change to keep that fresh. So maybe it was just because the vocals had that change in them that the guitar was allowed to be sort of a foundational backing part. Which of course, if you're playing rhythm guitar and chords and stuff, that makes a lot of sense. And then you had the additional elements as a nice little sometimes thing. I think that's basically what I wanted to say about that. Yeah. Anyways, see you later. Spider hands out.